The first time it happened, I thought it was just a bad moment. My mother's voice carried easily across the room, practiced in that familiar way that made everything sound like a lesson. Learn from your sister. She sends us $4.00 every month without fail. That's what responsibility looks like. There was a soft murmur of agreement. My aunt nodded. My cousin looked at me briefly, then away. I opened my mouth. But that's actually. My father didn't let me finish. Don't try to steal your sister's accomplishments, he said sharply, not even looking at me. If you think it's so easy, then try stopping the payments and see what happens. Something about the way he said it, casual, final, made the room settle. Not in my favor. I remember closing my mouth. Not because I agreed. Not even because I felt small in that moment. It was something quieter than that. A kind of recognition. They had already decided what was true. Correcting them wouldn't change anything. Not there. Not like that, so I let it pass. I stayed for tea. I nodded when expected. I left early, citing work. That night, I logged into my banking app and stared at the scheduled transfer. Same as always. Same account. Same amount. I didn't stop it. Not yet. For the next few weeks, nothing outward changed. My mother still called, her tone unchanged, still mentioning my sister in passing, as if repeating a fact that required no verification. My father remained distant but consistent. My sister never brought it up at all. That part sat with me the longest. She knew. Or at least, she never corrected them. I didn't confront her. I didn't ask. Instead, I started noticing things I had ignored before. How often my efforts had been absorbed into someone else's story. How quickly silence became agreement in our family. The transfer date came again. This time, I paused longer. Then I canceled it.
No announcement.
No message, no explanation. Just a small, quiet interruption in a system that had been running smoothly without ever acknowledging me. The first call came 3 days later. My mother. "Did something happen with your sister?" she asked, her voice carrying a slight edge of concern. The money didn't come through. I leaned back in my chair, phone pressed lightly against my ear. "I don't know," I said. It wasn't entirely untrue. There was a pause. Papers rustling on her end. "She's not picking up," my mother added, more to herself than to me. "This isn't like her." I didn't offer anything. The next week, the tone shifted. There were more calls. Shorter, sharper. My father left a voicemail, brief, controlled, asking if I had heard from my sister. There was an unfamiliar strain in his voice, something close to uncertainty. Still, no one asked me directly. It took nearly a month before something external broke through. My parents went to the bank. I only learned that later, when my father called again. This time, there was no preamble. The bank said the account name attached to the transfers. He stopped, as if the sentence resisted him. "It's yours." I let the silence sit between us. "Yes," I said. Another pause. Longer this time. "You never said anything." I tried to. The words weren't sharp, just placed carefully. I could almost hear him replaying that moment in his head. The meeting. The interruption. My mother got on the line next. Her voice was different now. Not softer exactly, but less certain. "Why didn't you correct us properly?" she asked. I considered the question. "I did," I said. "It just wasn't something you wanted to hear." There was no apology. Not then. What followed wasn't dramatic. No confrontation. No sudden shift into warmth or recognition. But things changed. Subtly. When my name came up in conversations, it wasn't followed by comparison anymore. My mother asked more direct questions, though still cautiously, as if unsure what she might uncover. My father spoke less, but when he did, there was a noticeable absence of dismissal. My sister remained distant, we never discussed it, and the money stayed where it was. I didn't resume the transfers, not out of anger. Not even as a statement, just because something had been clarified for them, it was a correction of fact. For me, it was something else entirely. I stopped feeling responsible for making myself visible in a place that had learned not to see me. They knew now. That was enough, not for repair, but for distance to feel honest.